The most useful and low-lift type of content that I create for my brand is B-roll. And these B-roll clips aren't just used once, they essentially build out a library of stock content that I can use for stories, for carousels, for any type of short-form video content. So in this video, I'm going to share the 20 essential types of B-roll clips that everyone should have on their shot list and in their stock content folder. And these are going to fall into 3 different categories: content stacking, content shoots, and what I like to call human tripod. Content stacking essentially is my take on habit stacking, where we're essentially going to take things that you're already doing throughout your day related to work or not, and we are going to add on essentially filming this for B-roll footage. They don't always have to be specific to your industry or even your content pillars, but they always should be on brand. So these types of content stacking clips are going to be based on what you're already doing. So this should be the most essential thing you should be doing on a weekly basis that is going to make creating video content so much easier. The first is a shot where you're essentially walking into your office or your workspace. The next would be a little bit of a closer shot where maybe you're typing on your computer or starting to do some work. You can also capture you doing things like being on calls or interacting with your computer. And one of my favorite shots is you doing like your morning rituals or routine, like making a coffee or a matcha. It's obvious that I do not sell matcha. I am not a matcha brand, but it's really something that people have started to note with me and my brand because it's a common theme that I'm using in my B-roll. It's a common thing that I'm talking about. And it essentially shows like a connection point to me. So it's not random, it's very much on brand. Another favorite is going on a walk, so whether you're on a treadmill, whether you're outdoors, whether you're out in the city, and this can be on selfie mode. It also can be you literally showing your feet walking, or my favorite is doing the 0.5 back camera. It's fun because you get a little bit of movement, you get a little bit of a wider frame, and you essentially get a lot of those shots in one of like getting your feet walking, but also getting you in the content. I love a good outfit check, or even better, if you have a mirror that you can show yourself filming in. Especially if you're on a trip or if this is something you're doing every day, like getting ready, it's something that you can easily tack on to your routine. The next is doing any type of planning, journaling, writing, or even if you're traveling or leaving for the day, essentially packing a bag or getting all your things together to then leave off camera. One that can be really strategic is any behind the scenes of the work that you're doing. So maybe you're doing client work, maybe you're creating content, maybe you're even doing speaking, and you really want to show the detail shots of what you're actually doing. And the final one in this category is what I like to call bonus B-roll shots. This is how you add like a little razzle dazzle to your stock content folder. This is where you can share your interests, your hobbies. So this could be traveling, this could be working out, this could be what you're getting up to on weekends. This is essentially that like personal touch point that you can add to your stock content folder. I highly recommend from this list, pick the ones that you're most excited for, or maybe it's inspired another type of shot that you can essentially capture, and do this at least once or twice a week. When you do the math, if you're doing this on a weekly basis, you will always be refreshing and adding to your content library. So you'll always have content to pull from, even if you're not actively creating. You're just filming the stuff you're already doing. This really should be effortless and not forced. All you're simply doing is tacking on things you're already doing and recording. We're not generating ideal, very aesthetic versions of it. My number one tip for recording any of these types of B-roll clips is to get different angles. You want to get wide shots, you want to get close-up shots, overhead shots. This is where you're able to add so much variety without having to film a lot of different things. And make sure if you're using a tool to help you actually capture this content, like maybe a tripod or something that goes on the back of your phone, or maybe even a phone stand, that you're picking something that's actually helpful for you recording your B-roll and not an obstacle. If it feels really hard to set up a tripod or bring things with you, know you can capture all of these clips with something sticky and grippy on the back of your phone, or literally by just holding your phone. That's really where that 0.5 angle really comes in handy, because you're able to film yourself, get that wider shot that isn't just a selfie, and you're able to add that movement of your camera flipping around, and it literally is like this easy. Now into the next category, which is a content shoot. So this is essentially the complete opposite of content stacking, where you're intentionally planning brand visuals that you're acting out for B-roll clips. And yes, you can definitely do this in a more official shoot, or maybe you have a studio, different outfits, lots of props, or you can do it very simply in like your home office or a space that you're already in every day. Really, the goal here is that you're thinking of your content pillars, the types of content you talk about a lot, and those common visual cues that you're going to be wanting to include in your videos, and you're making your shot list out of that. The first is any detail shots. This could be maybe showing a physical product or even a digital product, or anything involving a prop. So maybe you're having a matcha, maybe it's your keyboard, or maybe it's even tools that you're using for your business. The next is using any of those props. So maybe you're writing or unboxing or organizing or opening something up or closing it back down, packing things to go away. Another one could be actively reaching for an item, and make sure you're adding in those visual hooks and cues. So maybe you're walking on and off camera, maybe you're walking across the screen towards the camera, maybe you're even putting your phone down. Those are really small things that you can do during a content shoot that really makes your content a little bit more visually interesting. And really the last idea for your shot list is anything that might feel on theme for a launch or a campaign. So don't be afraid to have fun with the props and different elements that you're adding in. I know for one of our clients, we were intentionally shooting B-roll content that we knew we were going to use for a birthday sale that she does every summer. And so we literally got like a cake, we had the streamers, we had like all of those fun elements, and we really were integrating that with the footage that we were capturing. So it's a little bit more campaign specific. I love to do this in the comfort of my own office of if I'm already feeling camera ready or really inspired to batch a bunch of content maybe related to a specific offer or a piece of content that I'm creating. I will sit down and make a quick shot list based on a lot of the things that I've already shared, put together some props, maybe have some quick outfit changes. This is a really great tip of even if it's just your top that you're changing, or even accessories of like putting your hair up, putting any like jewelry on, putting on some layers. Those are really small ways that you can make quick changes without having to have like a ton of outfits. But that's essentially how I like to prep for just filming a lot of content, and it goes back to the rule of thumb here. Get as many angles as possible. This is really where something like a tripod comes in handy, but you also could use something like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I obviously love and talk about all the time. They even have their face tracking mode, so you definitely could get creative with that when you're filming your own B-roll to add in a little bit of visual interest without having to have a helping hand, which leads us to the final category, human tripod. These are the types of dynamic shots that you really can only get when you are creating content with another person. So this can be a friend, a fellow creator, a family member that you enlist, or it can be someone like my team. We love to do this not only for event coverage, but definitely for content days. When we're shooting B-roll for our clients, we like to get specific shots kind of into that content shoot realm, but most importantly, we're getting the shots and the angles and the movement that literally we can only get holding the camera and our clients being in the content. This is all about the visual hooks. Any type of movement that's going to draw people in is really what we're going for here. So this could be a panning shot, or maybe you're following the subject, a really fun overhead angle with a little bit of movement, maybe a slow zoom in or out, literally just doing it right within your phone camera, or recording those really fun behind the scenes. For example, whenever we're actually shooting talking content with our clients during a content day, we actually get behind the scenes of them doing the talking with their hands moving, with their emotions, like all of those different types of things. And a favorite of mine is anything where you're essentially tracking and following the subject. So maybe you're walking with them, maybe you're walking behind them or walking towards them, or a side walking angle. Pretty much anything with walking, we always include with these types of shoots. It's really important when you're having this human tripod style content that you're focusing on intentional movement and you're not moving too fast, not panning too fast, not having too much movement of like the subject moving and you're also moving a lot, because that makes things really dizzy. So when in doubt, less is more. And those are the 20 essential B-roll shots that you absolutely need to be capturing for your stock content folder. So my recommendation is to focus on content stacking first. This is something essential that you want to be doing as often as possible with those things you're already doing throughout your day. Then from there, you want to do content shoots as needed. Maybe there's a campaign or a fun launch, maybe you're doing a rebrand, or maybe you just want to stockpile a lot of footage all at once into that content folder. And definitely bonus points that it can be really helpful helpful to do this with a tripod or tools you already have, or enlist a human to be your human tripod. Content days are an essential thing that we do with all of our monthly management clients because it essentially kicks off the strategy that we're going to be executing with them. And it means that we can spend an entire day batching all the things, and then they literally don't need to film anything. Like, everything else is a bonus for literally months at a time. So if you're interested in doing a content day with Shine Studio, then you can find all the details in the description. And this was part 1 of the 101 series. We're going over all the key essential things that you need to be doing if you're wanting to create more video content. So we started with B-roll, and now we're going on to talking head videos next. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next episode.